Hey guys, it's Rabbit. I haven't done a video in a while, mostly because I haven't had very much time to myself. But I only have like one day every 2 weeks that I'm home alone. So, and I hate making videos when other people are around because I feel like oh, I'm talking to myself in the other room. So I'm not one of those like cool kids that doesn't care. Um, but I wanted to do another installment of my that one doll tag. So now that I have one of my dolls that I haven't had for quite a while, because he's been reshelled and reshelled and reshelled. Actually, just twice. This is a third reshell, but I'll get to that. But and now that I have him with me, I thought I would do his that one doll tag. So this is Jensen. His full name is Jensen Stewart Reeves, and actually I just call him Jen most of the time. Or his brother calls him Jenny, which is kind of embarrassing, but he puts up with it because Alex is older than him and can beat him up, which he doesn't, but he could. Anyway, I chose the name Jensen. I think originally I read it off of some stereo equipment because I believe they used to make Jensen speakers, and if I'm not mistaken, I think my mom actually had Jensen speakers at one point in time. So I had that name for a really long time, ever since I was like a little kid. And I think originally I had another OC that's name was Jensen, but I don't really remember that much about that OC. So Jensen, I got the Stewart. Let's see, Stewart is his middle name. His middle name, I just wanted to choose something that was kind of geeky, and ever since I started watching Big Bang Theory, Stewart is like the geekiest character in there, so I think it's kind of great. Reeves, I had already chosen for Alex. I got that from a paint brand. It's a cheap brand of acrylic paints. I actually had a set when I was in high school paint class, so that's where that came from. He is a Doll Zone Gray. Currently, he is on a Silas's old body, which is like a old doll family body. The match for like newer doll family bodies would still probably be pretty good for the normal yellow, because Doll Zone resin is fairly yellow. It actually matches the Midgie doll, which I think is the same as normal Volks as well. But this is not his permanent body. I'm actually going to get him a Doll Zone body. But I was really impatient when I bought him, and I wanted him right away. So I bought the head secondhand, and still don't have the body yet. So it's expensive, and it's probably going to take like half a year or more to get here. But I chose the Doll Zone Gray mostly for his his original sculpt was a Lutz Bori, which I'll get back to, but this sculpt reminded me of like a less stylized, more mature version of that in like his profile a lot. Like his nose has that like swoop to it. I don't know, that's the word that I use to describe that. It's like got that real curve to it, and that's what kind of attracted me to this doll for his character. But I like the shape of his eyes and his like little like M-shaped lips, and I don't know. I just really like the overall look of the Doll Zone Gray for his character in particular. Um, the third question is, how long have you had this doll? I got this doll in July of this year. July 7th is when I got this head. That's when it arrived. Um, I've had the character since like about 2010. So, yeah, he's been around here and there for quite some time. Um, Pros and cons of the doll. I'm not really going to talk too much about the body because, as I said, it's a temporary body and not like his permanent one. So, duh. I don't know why I say the same thing twice sometimes. Such a dork. Um, but the head, I really like the Doll Zone. The quality of the resin so far is pretty impressive, and the color, I like that it's that yellowy color. I don't have a lot of dolls that are that buttery color, so it's kind of nice to have another one that's that. I really like it on Silas, and he's like the only one that I have that's that color, so it's nice to have a second one that color. I said color like 5 times. I have not made a video for so long, you guys. Um, negatives, I don't really have any negatives yet because it's just, like I said, the head. So, the doll's own body looks gorgeous though, so unless it has like posing problems, I don't know what else I would really have problems with. Um, Face-ups and mods that I've done, I've only done one face-up on him so far. I have struggled with this character in the past though, particularly the shape of his eyebrows. I really like the way they are now because he's kind of an attitude in recent years, but when he was a kid, like an MSD, it was a little weird when he was too attitudinal because he looked kind of like a sassy little brat. And I mean, although he is kind of, it was just weird on the little innocent face that he had before. So I was actually really happy with how, like, he's not going to cooperate with me. His expression comes out now. Like, that is, like, I don't know. It came out really well, and he does look like a little brat, but still, he kind of is. He's nice, but sometimes. Um, let's see, where was I? Oh, he doesn't have any mods, or tattoos. He's only 17 years old, so I'm not going to give him any tattoos, just because I don't think that's really, like, realistic for a 17-year-old to have a tattoo unless they grow up in, like, a family of people that have tons of tattoos, I guess. But I think you have to get, like, parental consent to have a tattoo under the age of 18, and there's no way Alex would go for that. So, let's see. 6 is, how is this doll evolved? Well, this doll hasn't evolved much, but the character and the previous dolls that he's been in, I'm going to count as evolution. He started out as a Lutz Bori, and that was back in 2010. And ultimately, I didn't like how stylized the Bori was. His eyes were like humongous. I like the sculpt, but just not for me. And I wasn't really fond of the Lutz and how they, like, he poses okay, but, like, there's always something really awkward with Lutz dolls. Like, it's in the arms and the way they kind of, like, do that thing where they fold in and they're just sitting there like that all I don't know. I'm not a Lutz fan of, like, particularly the bodies, and the sculpts are too stylized for me, so I don't think I'm ever going to own another Lutz doll. But not that I have anything against, they do quality work, but they're just not for me. So I sold the Lutz Bori, and then because I was trying to go with Lutz still, like, to make sure he had, like, a similar feeling to him, I got the Lutz Terra, which is a junior Dolph, and I absolutely did not like that doll at all. Like, there was something, like, he looked great in the pictures, and I saw other people's pictures, and he looked awesome, but then I got my own, and I realized that his whole head, just, like, through his eyes, was so wide and weird looking, and I kept, like, trying to take different angles of it and try to get it right, and it was, like, he just looks weird, and, like, his head was, like, a 9-10, and all my other dolls were, like, size 8, or 7-8, so, like, he had this ginormous head, and he did not look right next to Alex, as his brother, and they're supposed to look they're half-brothers, so they're supposed to look a little bit related, or at least both human enough, you know, so it's just like, no, I do not like this sculpt at all, so I got rid of that one, and then I was in love with the Krabby doll, or Lance, for quite a while, and I was planning on getting him because, once again, he had that, like, curve to his nose and everything that I really wanted for the character. But I realized after I sold my Krabby doll Nia that I was like, Krabby doll is just too stylized for me anymore. Like, my dolls were going towards a little bit more realistic and not as, like, anime-ish. So I kind of gave up on getting a Lance for him. And then I found the Doll's Own Gray. And I looked at his pictures and I was like, okay, that's him. Like, I don't have to look anymore. I'm definitely getting that doll. So it just kind of clicked with his character. But yeah, like, he's been through a lot, so I'm really glad to have, like, a form where I finally am like, this is the one that I'm keeping and that's it. Like, I'm not reshelling you anymore because your brother is giving me murderous looks every time I sell you. But number 7 is a prop or thing that belongs to that character alone. Jen has a lot of props because he has, like, his own little room area where him and my other doll, Ryan, that I'm gonna get probably sometime next year, are gonna be sitting, and they're both, like, really nerdy I don't know, they're like media nerds, but they're also like really intelligent nerds, and so they have all these props, and I have like little books and stuff like that. But I think some of the main props for him, his his Rubik's Cube, I found one in scale. Like how like tiny and cute that is. I can't get over that. But it's like this the smallest Rubik's Cube, and it's not that cheap um made in China keychain one. This is an actual like Rubik's one where the little stickers don't come off. Because I had one of those and it got like warm in the summertime and the little stickers peeled off. But this is like an actual Rubik's Cube one that I found when I was in Montana. And I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. It's like $7 or $8 for this stupid little thing, but it works. I just don't want to mess it up because I can't fix it. He can, but I can't. But anyway, he's had a Rubik's Cube ever since he was like a little like toddler, and he's like genius material, so he like figured these out really quick, and he did it as a stress reliever. Later on in life, he went through a lot of stuff, and he always had his Rubik's Cube, and he'd hand it to somebody sitting next to him, like his aunt or his brother or his cousin, and they'd mess it up real good and then hand it back to him, and he'd work on fixing it. And that was kind of a way for him to interact with other people, but also like just a stress reliever thing, like a fidget type thing. So that's like really important for him to have. Another prop that I got him that was pretty cool. It's a little tiny bit out of scale because like it's a little bit big. Like I don't know, that's a little bit bigger than their heads, but it's this skull. And I really thought that was like awesome. It's really like overexposed in this lighting. But I really thought that was awesome because I'll tell you why in a second, but he's really kind of morbid and he's into the medical field. So he has a lot of diagrams and anatomy models and things like that. So that is like a really cool prop for him. Also, he has pet tortoises, and I got these like little. This was the first one that I got, and she's just so cute. I can't get the opposite thing right on this thing. I'm always like over here with it, but her name is Harriet, and this was actually I think this one's made by Schleck, and then I found a baby one. And that is like his second tortoise, which is Harry. But his tortoises are also another part of his character. He's not really into like really high maintenance pets like dogs and stuff like that. So the tortoises are just kind of something where he has that background noise. There's kind of like something else in his room besides just himself. Like I think he's had him for quite a while. So I mean, obviously this one is newer because it's a baby still, but he's had Harriet since he was like a kid, and tortoises live a long time. So I think with all the people he's lost in his life, I think the tortoise and its longevity, like I think that was something that really like made him choose that as a pet. But he also has a chessboard and like Sherlock books and stuff like that. So he's got all kinds of props. I think he has more props than like most of my other dolls. 8 is who is this doll related to? His brother is Alex, his much older brother. They're 16 years apart. So whereas he's 17 right now, that would make Alex what, 30? Wow, I can't think of it right now. I think he's 33. And Julie is his Alex's girlfriend slash they're not really married, but his partner or whatever. So that would kind of make her like she's not really like a mom or like she's more like a sister-in-law, I guess. I don't know. Alex kind of acts like his dad, but Julie doesn't really act like his mom. She's just kind of the cool one. And then Noah and Kyrus. Kyrus is my sister's doll, but Noah and Kyrus are his cousins. And Ryan, which I don't have yet, but that's kind of his friend slash boyfriend-ish type. They're really close. And then one of my sister's characters is Lucy, and that's his other best friend. So, which they were in a relationship at one point too, but that's another story. Number 9 is plans for him, And obviously I plan to get him his body. That's like the main plan that I have for him right now. I'd also like to work on his nerd wardrobe. Um, he like wears a lot of old man clothes, like little cardigans, and he loves plaid shirts, and he has these little like old man shoes. Um, but I would also like to make him a wig. This one I just kind of trimmed like a fur one that I had was Noah's, but I really like this style with long on one side and then like almost shaved on the other side. But I can't really achieve that as well with this just because, well, mainly I don't have like a clipper tool for hair, so I'm like whacking at it with scissors, so that's why it looks kind of uneven. But yeah, I'd like to get the proper tools and make him a proper wig. Um, and number 10 is 5 facts about the character. So, Jen is like really smart and he wants to go into forensic sciences. His brother was a cop, so that's kind of where that idea comes from. His father was on the bomb squad, so he kind of wants to be in the same field, field of justice. But he's very nerdy and doesn't want to actually be out in the field, so he wants to be a forensic scientist. He loves, like I said, he loves all that stuff. His mother was actually a nurse too, so it's kind of a combination. He's very emotionally challenged. I think out of all my dolls, except for maybe London, he's the most emotionally retarded. He's like, I can feel that glare kind of bouncing off of his glasses at me right now. Yeah, he is. Let's see, he is lost. He's not gonna like this one either. He lost both of his parents between the age of 7 and 8, and he was raised by his older brother after that. He lets his tortoises crawl around his room, which is kind of unnerving for some people because they are looking in his room and then, which is very tidy otherwise, and then there'll be like something moving out of the corner of their eye and like little claws scratching along, so it's a little weird. Um, and lastly, he loves Sherlock Holmes, like the books, any movies, the BBC series, like everything. He's obsessed with Sherlock Holmes. So, he's probably gonna have some props and stuff like that. He actually does have little miniature books that are like the Sherlock Holmes books, so it's really cool. But that is about it for Jensen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope I can make another one with not as much space in between this one as my last one. So hopefully I will see you guys again soon, and thank you for watching as always. Bye.